Lay's doesn't win when you choose. It wins before you even walk in. The last time you stood in the chip aisle, you probably scanned the options. Maybe you reached for Lay's. Maybe you didn't. Either way, the competition was already over, decided months earlier by people you'll never meet in rooms you'll never see. Snack choice feels personal. Snack dominance behaves engineered. Across market after market, the pattern repeats with quiet consistency. Within roughly 3 to 5 years of entry, Lay's becomes the reference point. Not the only chip on the shelf, but the one retailers plan around, promote confidently, and rely on when volumes matter. What happens first isn't persuasion, it's stabilization. Potato chips are one of the least forgiving products in food economics. They are low-priced, high-volume, space-hungry, and fragile. A crushed bag is dead inventory. A missed delivery doesn't wait. A stockout hands momentum to a competitor immediately. In that environment, distribution stops being a line item. It becomes the product. Lay's enters markets with manufacturing systems already tuned for this reality. High-throughput fry lines, continuous operations, oil recovery systems calibrated down to fractions of a cent. At scale, even a 1 to 2 cent advantage per bag compounds when output reaches hundreds of millions of units a year. Retailers don't experience that as cheap. They experience it as predictable. Predictability changes behavior. Shelf space in salty snacks is reviewed constantly, sometimes weekly. Products that hesitate lose ground fast. So Lay's doesn't flood new markets with choice. It anchors them with a narrow core, often fewer than 10 SKUs, engineered to move every single week. Velocity sends a signal without saying a word. This brand will not surprise you. And in retail, that is a compliment. High velocity earns more space. More space drives visibility. Visibility reinforces velocity. By the time competitors notice the loop forming, it has already tightened. You can see it without trying. Uniform bag sizes, tight price ladders, promotions that recur on schedule. Nothing chaotic, nothing experimental. What's happening isn't flashy, it's disciplined. The leverage deepens once the brand stops standing alone. Lay's doesn't negotiate as a single product. It sits inside a broader snack system, spanning formats, price points, and consumption moments. To a retailer, that changes the conversation. This is no longer about one SKU earning a spot. It's about maintaining category rhythm. The power shift is subtle. A regional brand negotiates one facing at a time. A portfolio reshapes the shelf. The first adjustment feels tactical. The third becomes permanent. That's where many local brands begin to fade. Not because demand collapses, but because tolerance narrows. One missed promotion window, one delayed truck, one packaging inconsistency. The shelf doesn't argue, it adjusts. An anonymized example makes it concrete. A regional chip brand has steady demand and loyal customers, but it runs on a single production line. During a holiday cycle, the fryer goes down. Deliveries slip a few days. No relationship is severed. Space is quietly reallocated. Velocity drops. Recovery gets harder each week. Lay's absorbs moments like this differently. Redundant plants, multiple suppliers, predictable recovery timelines. Reliability isn't a promise, it's infrastructure. This is where the familiar explanation starts to fail. Flavor localization is visible, so it gets credit. Chili here, masala there, seaweed somewhere else. It looks like cultural mastery, but flavor isn't the engine, it's the accommodation. The underlying system barely changes. Fry processes, packaging logic, logistics cadence. Localization sits on top of a spine designed to repeat. That's why imitation struggles. Seasoning can be copied in months. Logistics density, supplier leverage, and retailer trust are built over decades. In many large markets, a handful of snack brands control more than half of salty snack shelf space. Not because they dominate taste tests, but because they minimize friction for everyone downstream. There's tension in that dominance. Systems built for velocity resist sudden turns. Health scrutiny rises. Reformulation pressure builds. Regulatory standards tighten. In mature markets, snack growth drifts into low single digits, while input costs, oils, packaging, freight, swing unpredictably. Yet the same structure that creates rigidity also creates time. Lay's protects optionality upstream, in manufacturing and distribution, instead of betting everything on predicting the next flavor wave. What this reveals is simple and uncomfortable. Lay's doesn't dominate because it understands consumers better than everyone else. It dominates because it understands incentives better than everyone else. Retailers, factories, logistics, capital, all moving as one machine, and that machine rewards consistency over creativity. If shelves are the real battlefield, brands aren't competing for love first. They're competing for permission. Permission to be stocked, permission to be replenished, permission to be boringly reliable. The question that lingers isn't really about chips. As snack aisles fragment under private labels, digital fulfillment, and health-led reformulation, does the same system that built this dominance become harder to steer? Because systems that win through repetition rarely feel disruption early. And by the time they do, the shelf has already moved.